Welcome. This is KLVW-TV. I'm Maureen DiStallo. I'm the host for today's program, and my guest is Rory O'Connor, the president of Helping Hands. He's been here for a number of years, but let's have him tell you about it. How long have you been here, Rory, in LVW?
9.5 years. We moved in with, my father-in-law lives here, and we moved in 9.5 years ago, and it's been a wonderful experience.
I'm glad
it's a
to
great
hear that.
place to live.
It is. I agree. I've been here a long time, and I agree. How long have you been part of Helping Hands?
I took it over about in 2020, or just at the beginning of 2020, from the Hathaways, who wanted to move on.
Yes.
And it was something that was kind of up my alley. I felt very comfortable with it, and I'm very happy to do this kind of work. It's really nice to help.
Yes.
It's a reward in itself.
Why is it so much part of you? You say it's what you would be drawn to?
Well, I think it's a family thing. My brother, my older brother, he did volunteer work for Habitat for Humanity for years. He helped find properties for that they could renovate. And my parents, they took on basically the care of elderly people in their apartment building in the Bronx. And they would give, I remember running up with Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners to them. So it was kind of in the DNA to do that kind of thing.
Isn't that wonderful?
I think it is.
You found a place to do that. This is a place where we can all follow whatever our interests are.
Well, it is very true. And I think the bottom line is it takes a village.
Yes.
And to make this village a very comfortable and happy place to live, it really requires people participating in helping each other.
Yes, it does.
And that in itself is the reward.
So tell us about Helping Hands.
Well, in Helping Hands, we have, I'm saying maybe 20 volunteers, 25 volunteers, it varies. People act as coordinators. The coordinators answer the phones and triage the calls, and then request whatever volunteers are available to take those calls. We have a list of to-do tasks and lists of what we don't do. Most of the tasks range from simple things, changing light bulbs, programming TV remote controls, changing batteries in smoke detectors, nuisance type items that are difficult for a lot of older people.
Yes.
And we fill that gap between the maintenance department and the resident.
Isn't that great? Because I know I have taken advantage of it. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was in a very bad automobile accident, broke a number of bones. And my children have made me promise not to break any more bones. So I made me promise not to climb ladders. And I recently had a Helping Hands volunteer come and do all the things you just said. Change the battery, change the vent, change a light fixture, all up on ladders. So, you know, it depends upon our physical abilities, I think, at this point in time. And I just love Helping Hands. Every single person who has come to help me has been a delight. You know, we chat a little, and they're just so happy to do it.
Well, like I said, the work itself is the reward.
Right.
The people, the volunteers who make up this organization are all like-minded people. They really like to help other people. They like to give.
Yes.
And I guess it goes back to the old Christmas saying that
Right.
it's better to give than receive.
Yes.
And that's really the mindset that they have. It's
Yes.
really wonderful.
It is. I'm sure that it must be great to work with people like that, who have the same mindset as you.
Absolutely. It really is.
To be so comfortable with each other that you all are after the same goal.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of things, aren't there also things that are that not rented but can be used? Do you keep it, or is that Viston?
Oh, no, we have an inventory of equipment that we will lend out.
It
We
is helping hands.
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay.
So if you were to need a wheelchair or a walker or rollator rather,
Right.
sorry, confused the name. Whatever appliances or equipment that you would need, if we have it, we'll deliver it to you. And we also accept donations of wheelchairs and equipment that people no longer need.
That's wonderful, because a number of years back when my mother was still alive, she couldn't walk too far. And at this moment in time, I didn't remember who I called, but I borrowed a wheelchair for the day, because she was only here for the one day. And I took her shopping to the mall and used the wheelchair, and she was really quite funny because she resisted it.
Oh, yes, yes.
But on the other hand, I said, but then you won't be able to go to all the stores. So she finally relented. So as I'm wheeling her down the mall, she said to me, you know, these floors are so clean. I've never been so close to them. They really keep this place clean. So she was enjoying it. And I was so grateful that I had a place to use a wheelchair for just a day. And I was able to return it, and she was happy and I was happy. So I think it's a great service for our village.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I think that it's such a wonderful thing to do, to be able to provide for people
Right.
who in need without an expense. I mean,
That's
if you
right.
only need it for a day, if you need it for a
That's
week,
it.
however long you need it,
Right.
it's okay. We'll just give it to you, and we will take it back when you're done.
Isn't that wonderful?
It really works well.
It does.
Yeah.
And what about your insurance? How does that work? I mean, if one of your volunteers falls off my ladder.
Well, that was the first question that I asked of the village.
Yes.
What were we covered for? We're covered under the umbrella policy.
Okay.
For liability, so if anything happens, we're covered under the village's policy. Anything after that is under the homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
But we're only changing light bulbs, we're only programming a remote control. The liability is very limited.
Right.
You know, things we don't do, we just don't do. We don't do electrical or plumbing, so that takes a lot off the table.
Right. But I would hope that the volunteers feel safe, that they know that they're going to be covered in case of any kind of accident or problem.
Well, yes, to an extent they are.
Right.
They're covered, but then again, at the same time, they all have a skill set
Level,
that they're
right.
bringing with
Yes.
them.
Yes.
Where, you know, they're not going to break anything or fall down.
No,
and
no.
also, we do have them fill out a form letting us know what they want to do. Are you willing to go use a ladder, or you're willing to pick up something maybe over 25 pounds?
I see, yes.
Something like that.
Uh-huh.
So we're taking care of people on the residents side and on the volunteer side.
Oh, that's so necessary.
It is.
It is. It really is. So I have to ask you,
Go ahead.
what are some of the strange requests you've gotten? I'm sure you get a lot.
Well, the strangest one we've gotten so far is somebody wanted us to move a piano, and they wanted to know if there was get 4 or 5 men together, and it was something that we can't do. It's,
Of course not. A piano?
A piano being moved by a bunch of retired men. Maybe not in our cards.
You'd need a lot more insurance on that.
Yes. So, but we will do other things.
Right.
We will move some furniture around the house if it's not too heavy. We'll assemble, like, IKEA furniture and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, I should have known that.
Ah, well, too late.
Oh, darn, I
Okay.
missed out on that one.
Well, you should call IKEA again, get another order in.
That's a TV table.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you also do, do you do anything outside?
No, we don't do like gardening or...
No, not gardening, but like a friend came over and helped me winterize, and he took hoses off.
Well, we'll disconnect hoses.
You'll disconnect
Yeah,
hoses.
sure.
Right,
We'll disconnect a hose, but, you know, we can't be trimming landscape or
Oh, no.
anything like that.
No, no.
We're pretty limited to small, lightweight items and easy tasks
Right,
that are
right.
beyond the ability of the resident to take care of.
Something my husband would have done if he
Pretty
was
much.
still here.
We're like the husband for hire.
Right, right.
Or the wife for hire
Or
in
the
some
wife for hire.
cases.
Right, right.
You know, I don't discriminate as far as jobs go. Men or women can do either jobs. Anybody can change a light bulb. Anybody can program a remote control.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear of this equality.
Well, you got, you know, we're all smart.
Yes, that's wonderful. So how do people go about volunteering? How can you ask everyone to come forward and volunteer so there's...
Well, the best way to do it is to call our Helping Hands hotline.
Mm-hmm.
The number's listed on the creeper. It's listed numerous places. It's 732. Of course, because I'm on TV, I don't remember it.
That's okay.
But anyway, if you call and just let us know that you're interested, we'll give you a call. You can then come by our monthly meeting. We have a monthly meeting the first Monday of every month at Encore in the stained glass room, where the board of directors meets.
Right.
And we will take your information. You can fill out your a form that lists your abilities and what you are capable or want to do.
Right.
And then we will put you in the loop. It's a part-time job.
Okay.
I mean, if there are 10 or 15 volunteers available any given week, we'll call whoever answers whoever is on the first
Right.
roster, and whoever takes the job gets it. You may not get a job for a week or two.
Right. And what about the coordinators?
The coordinators basically answer the phone and keep track of the calls and maintain the status of the call log. They can do it from home. All they have to do is dial in, and we run that on you do that task for a week, and generally it is an 8 weeks rotation. So every 2 months you have 1 week where you're covering.
That's it.
And that's it. That's it. It's,
Once every 2 months.
Once every 2 months, and it just we pass the logbook around from person to person,
Right.
and everybody just participates at their own pace.
Right. About how many calls do you get a week?
It's hard to say. I mean, we're kind of, the word is getting out. I'm going to say 10.
Okay.
Some weeks you might get 15, other weeks you might get 3. So it's hard to say.
Right.
But the word is getting out.
Yes.
And now that it's going to be on TV, I'm
Yes.
sure the calls are going to be a lot more.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing.
It is a good
Perhaps
thing.
also you might get more volunteers.
We're always looking for volunteers,
Yes.
people who are willing to help other people.
Right.
And that's the
main thing.
That's the main thing. They know where we are, and they'll step up when they want to.
Yes, yes. And so what do you want to pass on? You know, I know you talked about setting up a schedule and setting it all up in a certain way so that it could be passed on to someone else. After you decide you're not going to give help, you're going to get help.
Right, exactly. I mean, I realize that many people before me have had this job.
Yes, of course.
And the people I picked it up from, the Hathaways, they had it for years, and they did a great job, and it was really well set up. I basically am doing the same thing.
Okay.
I want to make sure that the procedures and the processes are in place much along the lines of a business, so where you can just hand over to the next person a fully operational and organized organization. Mm-hmm. And that's what we are. That does good.
Yes, it does do good. Now, one question I want to ask about, or have you talk about, is a number of people I know want to give a tip. They want to give something to the person who comes into their home and
Yes,
helps them.
yes.
So tell us what the
Well, we don't
policy is.
accept tips.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a slippery slope. We just don't do it. But we will encourage people to make a donation to Helping Hands.
Okay.
And we use the money to reward the volunteers. We have a yearly function
Oh, okay.
where we reward volunteers. We don't spend a lot of money, but it's a nice get-together. We also buy new equipment.
Oh.
We've bought brand new commodes because this whole fallout from COVID
Yes.
really requires that we have a very sanitary operation. So we've bought brand new commodes. So people who need commodes, they get a brand new commode and we don't expect it to come back.
Right.
And that's what we use the money for. We've also bought brand new rollators, which are the folding walkers with wheels.
Yes.
They're in very high demand.
Yes,
and
I
we
imagine they would be.
we want to have very good condition equipment. So we buy some equipment as needed. We've also bought the four-footed canes,
Oh, yes.
which are they're in demand.
Yes.
And we lend them out to people temporarily, and they return them. And this is what we use the money for, to buy equipment.
Now, you mean to say the association doesn't buy those items?
No.
The association is removed?
Right. We don't rely on the association for anything other than the space to put a shed
Yes.
and the umbrella policy for the insurance.
Right.
Other than that, we are independent, self-sufficient.
Very
That's the
good.
way it is.
Yes. Well, those are really good things to know, because I'm outside. I'm going to ask you, do you have high blood pressure cuffs? Do you lend them out?
No, we
No.
don't do any medical devices.
Okay.
It's not the type of. We basically do appliances, walkers,
appliances,
wheelchairs,
yes.
crutches, canes,
Right.
that
But
kind of
that's
stuff.
such a help to people who have a need for a certain length of time. They broke a leg, or they broke their ankle
Yes.
or something, and they need a crutch, or they need a cane for just a short period of time.
Well, and that's where we excel. We have a lot of this equipment. People
Right.
donate a lot of equipment to us
Right.
after they're finished with it. So we have a 30-foot by 20-foot shed
Oh, wow.
filled with equipment.
Where is your shed, or shouldn't you tell?
Our shed is over by the pickleball courts in the parking lot where the RVs are.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yes.
it's over there.
And that's a great place.
It's a very handy place.
Yeah,
We
you
were
can
able
just
to.
pull your car up and get it.
Sure. And we have a lot of people a lot of volunteers who will just swing by, pick out what they need, and deliver it to the resident.
Right.
And except for the log, you wouldn't even know that they had done it.
Right.
But the people who receive the equipment, they know
Oh, my
it.
goodness, they are so appreciative.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
talked to some.
Absolutely.
And I was, as I say, I was a recipient of one from my mother, and it was just so helpful. It just made the day for my mother, and me.
Just to show you that the people are very kind and very, very responsive to us. They send us thank you cards with donations, and I've put up the thank you cards in the bulletin board
Nice.
right here in Willow.
Right.
It just shows how many people are thankful and wish to make donations, and it's
Yes.
their way of giving back too.
That's true. Of saying, a real concrete thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Well, do you have anything else you want to tell our audience about Helping Hands?
Well, other than the fact that it takes the people in Helping Hands really help make this village,
Yes.
and to help each generation have a comfortable, happy life. It takes very little effort for a person to do the right thing.
Right.
And that in itself is the reward. So if you feel like volunteering, contact us. We'll put you into the task and give you things to do.
Well, it's been a delight getting to know you, Rory.
Thank you. Thank you. I
I'm a better
enjoyed this.
person because I know you now. And it's
Thank
been
you
a
very
delight
much.
to be here and let the whole village know what good work you've been doing, the whole group of Helping Hands. And it's been going on for a long time. It's been here in the village quite a few years.
Yes,
So,
yes. It was, I'm not sure who was running it before the Hathaways. I'm not even sure who started it.
right.
But hopefully it'll go on and on.
Yes,
Because it's a definitely necessary thing.
yes, it is. If I had known that, that would have been another reason for me moving here. As it was, I was delighted with the trees.
Yeah,
so.
as far as I know, we're the only village around here that
Yes,
has this.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
So,
I've talked to, well, I don't know about every village, but there are people that I know in other villages, and they say, oh, you're so fortunate.
that's what I've heard.
Yes, yes. So, well, I thank you so much for being here.
And thank you for having me.
It's been a delight, and thank you all for watching.